Ah, traveler of this world, listen closely, for there are whispers in the wind, signs hidden in the folds of your everyday life. Yet how often do you hear them? How often do you walk by, lost in distractions, missing the quiet warnings that the soul offers? The signs, they are everywhere, fluttering like fragile wings. You need only to pay attention. She smiles, yes, but do you see her eyes? There in those eyes a language you cannot understand. She speaks, her words sweet, but the coldness of her voice tells a different story. She wears beauty like a mask, and behind it there is emptiness. How many times have you fallen for this? The charm, the allure, the warmth that fades as soon as you are close enough to touch it. Beneath her smile there is something else, something darker. Look deeper. Her heart, is it full? Is it kind? Or does it thirst endlessly? You, the one seeking to give, must ask, does she share? Does she care? Or does she take without ever filling the space between you and her? A woman whose desires are only for herself will never fill your soul. Instead, she will drain it. She will make you believe in the beauty of love, and then steal your joy away. At first, she may seem like the warmth of the sun, glowing radiant, but soon you will feel it something heavy, something oppressive. The more you give, the less you have. Your spirit begins to fade, your peace begins to slip. You begin to seek light in places that once glowed brightly, only to find darkness. She is not the sun, my friend. She is the shadow that grows with every step you take toward her. She will speak of love, but does she show it? Her words will fly freely, yet her actions will lock you away. You feel the chains, though invisible to the eye. She criticizes, she diminishes you, and yet, when she needs you, she'll ask for more. When she loves, it feels like a prison. And when she leaves, it feels like freedom. This is the sign, a sign to watch closely, to listen with your heart, for love should never feel like a cage. She will bind you, slowly, like the quiet pull of the tides. With every promise unkept, with every word that rings hollow, you become entangled. She will promise the world and deliver nothing but disappointment. And when you rise, when you seek your wings to fly, she will clip them. She will keep you tethered, not to love, but to a need for control. But here is the truth you must see when you suffer. Does she care? Does she share in your sorrow, or does she only seek her own gain? When you hurt, does she feel it? When your heart breaks, does hers break too? No, she does not feel, for her heart is a stone. Her love, if it can be called such, is a weapon, not a gift. Ah, but here is the deepest truth your heart knows. Yes, it knows. In the silence of your own soul, you have heard the whispers. You have felt the subtle shifts. The signs have already been shown to you. It is not your mind that will warn you. It is the quiet, steady voice of your heart, if you only listen. When your peace begins to slip, when the weight of her presence grows too heavy, you have already seen the signs. Your heart has spoken. Know this: every evil is born of ignorance. She may not know what harm she causes, and in that she is lost. But you are not lost. You see what lies before you. You see the web she has woven, and you have the power to walk away, to break free. But will you? Will you listen to the signs? Will you free yourself from her grasp, or will you wait, hoping that tomorrow will be different? The choice is yours, my friend. Will you heed the signs, or will you continue to walk the path of shadows? The power to walk away lies within you. The question remains, will you step into the light? There is an ancient truth in the eyes of a person. The eyes, they say, are the windows to the soul. They are the most honest part of the human form, often betraying the emotions and intentions that words seek to conceal. The smile, the gentle tone, the soft gestures, these can all mask the true nature of a person. But the eyes, they never lie. When a woman smiles at you, it may appear as though she is filled with warmth, kindness, and affection. Her lips curve in a way that could melt even the coldest heart. She may even speak sweet words to soothe your spirit, to make you feel wanted, desired, and loved. But if you look closer, if you dare to look beyond the surface of her smile, you will see the truth that her gaze carries with it. Her eyes may not express the same warmth that her smile does. In fact, there may be something cold, distant, or calculating in their depths. You may notice a fleeting glance that doesn't meet your gaze directly. Perhaps her eyes dart away, avoiding true connection, betraying the sweetness of her words. There may be a flicker of something darker beneath the surface: anger, manipulation, or even a sense of emptiness. The eyes reveal the hidden layers of the soul, those parts that we often try to keep hidden, even from ourselves. They cannot be controlled in the same way words or actions can. While someone might smile to deceive, the eyes have a tendency to give away more than intended. In the eyes you see fear, regret, or desire, sometimes all in a single fleeting moment. The depth of the soul is captured in those windows, and even when a woman speaks in kindness, you may catch a glimpse of something that stirs unease in your own heart. It's easy to be seduced by a pretty face, by a charming smile, or by words that promise all the things your heart desires. But the true essence of a person lies in their gaze, the silent language they speak without uttering a word. A woman who hides her true self behind a well-practiced smile will often reveal herself in moments when she believes she is unobserved. Watch her eyes in those moments of stillness. When the world around her quiets, what do they say? Do they soften with genuine care? Or do they harden with ulterior motives, the kind that are not meant to serve you but to serve herself? We live in a world where appearances often hold more value than substance. People, especially women, are taught to wear masks of beauty, kindness, and charm. These masks are often put on to please others, to gain approval, or to hide a brokenness within. The smile is just that, an external gesture that may hold little truth. It is in the eyes that the mask begins to slip. It is in the eyes that you will begin to understand the depth of someone's character. The eyes speak a language that the mind cannot easily understand, and yet the heart knows its meaning. When a woman speaks with sweetness, but her eyes betray a disconnection, that is the moment to pay attention. When her gaze lingers just a moment too long, and you feel discomfort in your chest, that is a sign. The eyes that do not meet yours, the eyes that seem to look through you rather than at you, the eyes that are cold or distant, these are all subtle signals that something is amiss. A smile can be a mask, but the eyes are the mirror of the soul, reflecting what words and gestures can never fully express. A woman who hides behind her smile, who cloaks her true self in sweetness and charm, is often hiding from something, perhaps a deep insecurity, a hidden agenda, or a fear of being seen for who she truly is. But no matter how hard she tries to conceal it, the truth always finds its way to the surface, and in her eyes you will see it. The hidden truths of her heart are there, even if she wishes to keep them locked away. So beware. Beware of the woman who hides behind a smile, for beneath the surface may lie something entirely different from the warmth she wants you to believe in. The eyes, dear friend, will always tell the story that words cannot. And if you learn to read them, if you learn to trust what they say, you will be able to see the truth long before it makes its way to the surface. In the end, the eyes reveal everything. They are the first to show the cracks in the mask, the first to reveal the darkness or light that lies within. Listen to them, and they will guide you to a deeper understanding of the person before you. Have you ever been in a relationship where you give endlessly, yet you feel as though something is always missing? You offer your time, your energy, your love, but it feels as if it's being drained from you with no return. This is the mark of a woman whose heart is empty, someone whose desires never seem to satisfy, no matter how much you give. Her heart is like a bottomless pit, always hungry, but never filled. And in the process you are left feeling worn, diminished, and lost. A woman whose heart is not whole cannot give to you in the way you deserve. She may appear kind and caring on the surface, but underneath, her need for validation, attention, and affection is boundless. She takes again and again, and each time it feels like a part of you slips away with her. She may share your space, your time, but never your dreams. Her world revolves around her desires, her needs, and you are only there to feed them. There is no genuine exchange, no balance of giving and receiving. When you are with her, do you feel seen? Do you feel heard? Or do you constantly feel like you are the one who must fill the silence, bridge the distance, and constantly offer more? A woman who only takes does not have the capacity to nurture. She cannot understand the true meaning of love, of sharing, of giving, of elevating the other. Instead, she consumes what you offer, yet it never seems enough. No matter how much you give, she will always want more, leaving you feeling drained, empty, and alone, even when you're with her. Her desires are endless, not because she has a true vision or passion, but because she feeds off the attention, the affection, and the admiration of others. She is constantly seeking validation, constantly drawing energy from those around her. And yet, no matter how much you give, her thirst is never quenched. You may find yourself chasing after her affection, trying to fill a void that cannot be filled with words or actions. But in the end, you will find that nothing satisfies her. The more you give, the more she will take, and the deeper the void becomes. In these relationships, the space between you and her is never truly filled. It is always an empty space, no matter how much you try to fill it with love, with care, with hope. That empty space will never be filled, not because you are not giving enough, but because she is not capable of receiving. The heart that takes without giving cannot understand the balance of love and connection. It cannot create a space where both people can grow and nurture each other. You may pour your heart into her, but the heart that takes does not know how to reciprocate. Beware, for the heart that takes without giving back is a heart that will leave you lost and broken. In a relationship, there must be a balance of giving and receiving, a dance where both souls can grow together. But when one heart takes endlessly, it will never leave room for the other to flourish. You will find yourself lost in the shadows of her unending needs, while your own dreams, your own hopes, your own spirit slowly fade away. And so when you give and give, and yet feel emptier with each passing day, ask yourself, does she give back? Does she share in your joys? Does she celebrate your successes as her own? Or is she too focused on what she can take from you next? The heart that is capable of love of true connection is one that understands the beauty of both giving and receiving. It is a heart that knows how to fill the space between two souls with mutual care, compassion, and respect. But the heart that only takes will never know this balance. It will leave you with an empty, hollow feeling, even when you give your all. Beware, for when a woman's heart is empty, your own will never find peace. It will only continue to yearn for what is never returned. At first, her presence may feel like a soft embrace, a warmth that fills the room and wraps around you like the first rays of the morning sun. Her touch, her words, her very being seem to bring comfort, offering you a sense of security and peace. You may be drawn to her, mesmerized by the glow that radiates from her, thinking you found someone who can nurture your spirit, someone who will be your shelter in the storm. But as time passes, something begins to shift. That warmth, once inviting, begins to feel heavier. It's as though the light she offered starts to fade, and in its place comes a weight that presses down on your soul. At first, you may not even notice. You'll still feel the attraction, still feel the pull of her energy. But little by little, you begin to sense it, the shift from warmth to something that feels like a slow suffocation. The more you give to her, the less you have. Your energy is drained, your peace eroded, and yet she still demands more. When she loves you, does it feel like freedom, or does it feel like a cage? At first, it's easy to think her affection is everything you've ever wanted. She showers you with attention, says all the right things, and you feel like you've finally found the love that will make you feel whole. But then, over time, something starts to feel off. Her love, you realize, isn't unconditional. It comes with conditions, with expectations that start to feel more like chains than a warm embrace. Her affection isn't a gift, it's transactional. There's always something you have to give in return. You begin to notice the subtle ways she controls your actions, your thoughts, even your feelings. It's not always direct, but you start to realize that to keep her love, you need to behave a certain way, think a certain way, even dress a certain way. To maintain her affection, you start losing pieces of yourself. She might not even realize what she's doing. She might think she's just protecting you, loving you, but in truth, she's trapping you in a world built on her own insecurities. Every time you try to step outside of that world, every time you try to be more of who you really are, there's resistance. She might make you question your worth or your choices, keeping you small, keeping you unsure of your own strength. And yet, you keep trying to meet her expectations, hoping that one day you'll feel truly loved. But that's not love. Love doesn't demand you shrink or change to fit someone else's idea of who you should be. True love lifts you up. It celebrates who you are, exactly as you are. It doesn't make you feel like you're in a cage. When love is real, it sets you free. And every time you feel confined by her expectations, every time you feel like you're walking on eggshells just to avoid her disapproval, you start to lose a little bit of yourself. You're no longer the person you once were, just trying to meet a need that was never yours to fill. What once felt like warmth now feels like a heavy weight pressing down on your chest, keeping you from living authentically, from breathing freely. Then, when she leaves, whether through silence, distance, or outright rejection, something unexpected happens. At first you might feel relief, like you can finally breathe again. But soon you realize the truth. The moment she's gone, you feel a freedom you hadn't known before. That's when you know her love was never really love at all. Because love that's real doesn't make you feel trapped. It doesn't weigh you down. When someone truly loves you, you feel lighter, empowered, not smaller. Love should never make you doubt your worth or make you feel like you're not enough. It should never make you shrink or become something you're not. When it's genuine, it sets you free. It creates space for both people to grow, to thrive, to be the fullest versions of themselves. So, if you find yourself in a relationship where love feels more like a cage, where affection feels like a prison, ask yourself, is this really love? Does this love lift me up, or does it hold me down? If you feel like you're losing yourself just to keep her affection, then it's time to step back and reconsider. Real love doesn't imprison you. It opens doors, gives you space to soar. And if you feel trapped, remember, love should always set you free. She will bind you slowly with words that promise love, affection, and support. At first it seems harmless, maybe even like the encouragement you've always wanted. But with each passing day, the chains get tighter. Her promises start to ring hollow, her words lose their meaning, and you start feeling stuck in a web of expectations you never agreed to. It's not always direct manipulation, it's subtle. Small gestures, quiet demands that only you can feel. At first you might think she's just showing concern, but soon you'll notice that every time you try to rise, to grow, to be more of who you are, there's tension. The more you try to break free, the tighter the grip becomes. Her control is invisible, but it's real. She keeps you tethered to a life you never wanted. You might start questioning your own desires, your own dreams. Slowly you'll begin to doubt if you can do anything without her approval, her permission. She'll make you feel like your aspirations aren't worthy of pursuit, like your growth threatens the fragile space she's created for the two of you. She'll keep you small, make you believe you can't stand on your own. And with each little affirmation she gives, you'll get addicted to her approval, thinking you need it to feel whole. The more you try to rise, the more she pushes you down. It starts small comments disguised as concern, actions disguised as care. Don't go too far, she'll say. If you become too independent, you'll lose me, she'll warn. She'll keep you confused, questioning whether you should prioritize her over your own dreams. Each time you try to break free, she pulls you back in, wrapping you tighter in her web. At first, you might think this is just part of love's sacrifice, compromise. But when you realize you're sacrificing your identity, your growth, just to keep the relationship intact, you'll see it for what it really is: control. She'll keep you from standing tall, from reaching for your dreams. And the more she succeeds, the more you'll feel trapped in a life you never wanted. Her grip won't be visible, but it'll be strong enough to make you feel stuck, like every step forward is met with something pulling you back. You'll lose sight of who you were before, the person you once dreamed of becoming. The longer you stay in her web, the more you'll feel like you're stuck in a loop of pleasing her, giving up your autonomy just to feel that fleeting moment of affection. Beware of the one who binds you with false promises, who entangles you in empty words and unfulfilled actions. She'll trap you slowly until one day you look around and realize that you're no longer free. You're in a prison made not of steel bars, but invisible chains that control every aspect of your life. The physical barriers are weak, but the emotional grip she has on you is so strong that escaping feels impossible. But here's the truth: no love should hold you back. No affection should make you feel small. True love supports you, nurtures you, and encourages you to become the person you were meant to be. If you find yourself bound by invisible chains, trapped in a web that keeps you from rising, know that it's not love, it's control. And it's time to break free. When your heart aches, when the weight of the world feels too heavy to carry, does she notice? Does she feel the sorrow that clouds your spirit? Or does she pass by unaffected, like your pain is just a passing inconvenience? Does she care when you suffer, or is her heart as cold as stone? Beware of the one who's absent when you're at your lowest. Her love might seem warm at first, might offer comfort, but when you're in pain, when your soul is crying out, does she respond, or does she ignore it, like your struggle is a disruption to her world? Love isn't a tool for manipulation. It's not something given when it's convenient and taken away when it's no longer useful. True love feels your pain. It doesn't shy away from your sorrow, it moves toward it, offering support. True love knows that pain is part of life, and it's through sharing in it that bonds are strengthened. But the one who can't mourn with you, who can't share in your struggles, isn't capable of offering the love you need. Instead, her love is transactional, given when it suits her, but withheld when you need it most. A heart that doesn't feel your pain is closed off. Her words of comfort may come, but they'll be empty, hollow promises. Her love isn't there to heal, it's there to control, to keep you dependent. When you need her most, you'll find her absent, indifferent, uncaring. There's no connection in a relationship where one person can't feel the other's pain. Love isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about standing together through difficulty, offering comfort in the storm, and sharing the weight of life's struggles. True love doesn't leave you alone in your pain, it's there, offering a shoulder to cry on when the world feels too heavy. So when you're hurting, and the person who says they love you feels nothing, when your sorrow is met with silence, ask yourself, is this love? If her heart doesn't break when yours does, then her love isn't real. It's not the love that heals, that mends broken souls. It's the kind of love that uses, that leaves you empty when you need it most. True love isn't just about the good times, it's about walking hand in hand through the pain, sharing in the sorrow, and lifting each other up. When love is absent in your pain, when your struggles are ignored, it's not love. True love mourns with you, heals with you, and helps you rise again. Beware of the one who feels no sorrow for your pain. Her heart isn't capable of the love you deserve.